Liberty, 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 liberty. Guys, when the WNBA, when the team as a whole, when the Las Vegas Aces needed A'ja Wilson the most, she wasn't there. She wasn't there in tonight's game. Unfortunately, A'ja Wilson was out, okay, in the game, not just any old game. It was the game. It was the Las Vegas Aces taking on the New York Liberty during the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup championship game. This is for the cup. This is for the coin. $500,000 on the line. And the Las Vegas Aces was without their captain. It was like having peanut butter and jelly with no peanut butter, Kool-Aid, no sugar. It's like having, a cheeseburger with no cheese. That is when you're missing such an important ingredient such as A'ja Wilson herself, being the GOAT, four-time MVP winning champion. She was not in today's game. Why? Because just the other game ago, she faced off with my Chicago Sky and twisted up that ankle a little bit in the fourth and final quarter. And now when you look back at it, no tea, no shade. I'm not here to attack nobody. Of course, hindsight is what always 2020. Why would they continue to allow and keep A'ja Wilson in the game going up against my Chicago Sky, knowing it was the fourth and final quarter? And if my memory serves me correctly, I don't believe the Chicago Sky was that much of a threat to the Las Vegas Aces in that matchup. I know we lost by like just 7 points. So again, I was proud of us, even though we lost, because we were able to go toe to toe with the champions, the defending champions, the reigning champions. On tonight's game, it was champion versus champion. Okay, you got the Las Vegas Aces. They won 3 championships. Okay, in the past 4 seasons of the WNBA, but in 2024, the league, the propaganda, Kathy Engelbert being the WNBA commissioner herself, everybody was in cahoots to give the New York Liberty the championship, okay, over the Minnesota Lynx. Yes, I said it, and if you mad, oh well. So, of course, without A'ja Wilson, I ain't gonna lie, of course, I was still rooting for Las Vegas Aces, okay, to defeat and whoop the New York Liberty. They failed to do so, of course. But, I ain't gonna lie, I went into this game just having a little bit of a pep talk with myself. I'm like, you know what? I already know how this is gonna get. This game is gonna get nasty. The game might get a little bit vicious. But it's just as long as we try our best, okay, and try to put our hands up, okay, and touch gloves with the New York Liberty, it'll be somewhat okay. Because again, them first 2 quarters of this game was nasty, guys. It was terrible. I was like, what is this? And the Las Vegas Aces lost in tonight's game, going up against the New York Liberty. The New York Liberty concluded the game. They scored 93 points. The Aces put up 85 points. Again, the first and second quarter it was terrible, but in the third quarter they did make a little comeback. In the first quarter, the Aces only put up 21 points, and the Liberty's 27 points. And again, guys, throughout this game, it was physical. Oh my lord, was it physical! In the first quarter, I believe it was Chelsea Gray who made some sort of contact with, I believe it was Leonie Fibich of the New York Liberty. They collided somehow, and like her piercing, like right here on the bridge of her nose, I think she had a piercing there. She might not have had a piercing. At first, I thought she had got a piercing like hit. I don't think, you know what? It may not have been Leonie Fibich. It may have been, how do you pronounce her name? I believe she's European. Asterisk. Let me see. I believe you pronounce her name as Pauline Astier. Not Asterisk. What am I talking about? Pauline Astier. I believe she's the one who made contact with Chelsea Gray in the first quarter. And Chelsea Gray, like right here in the middle, like square in the middle, in between her eyes, that bridge of her nose, I believe it just started bleeding. Like, it looked awful. She had to step away from the court. I'm like, here we go again. First we got A'ja Wilson, she injured. And now don't tell me Chelsea Gray, aka the point guard, is now injured. I'm like, this is getting too physical. But in the second quarter, and then again after that, after Chelsea Gray got sat out, here enters Kennedy Carter, aka who gonna guard her. And she did try, guys. She tried all she could. But again, overall, the New York Liberty was better at the 3-point line. They were far, far more superior when it comes to rebounding and like just all their overall stats. But Kennedy Carter had came in the first quarter after a couple minutes, and I'm like, hopefully she can put the team on her back. But again, she did do that somewhat. She tried, but ultimately they still lost, right? Because again, in the second quarter, the Aces only put up 16 points to the Liberty's 24. But here we go, guys. In the third quarter, I was like, here we go. Here it is. This is how it's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna happen. I was like, okay, they didn't press on the gas. They just got to keep on driving. Because in the third quarter, the Aces put up 25 points to the Liberty's 14 points. That third quarter, they went on a 10-0 run for like 2.5 minutes. They was just scoring back to back to back. Liberty ain't put up nothing. At one point in the third quarter, they took the lead by just like 1 point. They didn't lead this entire game, all throughout this game until the third quarter. And I believe it was after Jackie Young put up a three. No, it was Jewell Loyd. Jewell Loyd put up a 3-point shot in the third quarter. For Jewell Loyd's 3-point shot in the third quarter, that was the Aces' first 3-point shot in tonight's game. Meanwhile, the Liberty are putting up 3-point shots back to back to back to back. Sabrina Ionescu put up like 2 in the first quarter alone. Leonie Phoebus was putting them up. Jonquel Jones, I'm like, okay, listen, the Aces, y'all got to answer with some threes. It's just ridiculous. And of course, in the fourth and final quarter, the Aces put up 23 points to the Liberty's 28. And that concluded the game, guys. That was game. And looking at these overall team stats, the biggest lead that the Aces had over New York was just 2 points. Meanwhile, the biggest lead that the Liberty had over the Aces was 17 points. Looking at the rebounds. The rebounds was ridiculous. The Liberty had 51 rebounds to the Aces just 37. The Liberty had 18 assists to the Aces 21. The Liberty had 6 steals to the Aces 8. The Liberty had 5 blocks. Aces had 0 blocks. See, if they had A'ja Wilson, she would have been blocking shots, okay? The Liberty had 13 turnovers, though, compared to the Aces just 9. So we had, the Aces had a little bit better ball discipline. And, they were a little bit more territorial for that ball possession in tonight's game. But here we go with the shooting stats. When it comes to shooting from the field, the Liberty shot at 47%, the Aces at 43%. When it comes to shooting from the three-point line, the Liberty shot at just 28%. Okay, that's low too, but Aces only shot at 23%. And when it comes to shooting from the free throw line, the Liberty shot at 82.8%, the Aces at just 78.6%. Now we got to get into these individual player stats, starting with the winners first being the New York Liberty. Breanna Stewart, a.k.a. Stewie, a.k.a. Stu York, she had 25 points, 11 rebounds. She had herself a double-double. Leonie Phoebus had 2 points, 8 rebounds. Dang, Leonie Phoebus played for 33 minutes and only put up 2 points. That's actually terrible for her. Jonquel Jones only scored 9 points and had 9 rebounds. She could have done better. Sabrina Ionescu had 26 points, 5 rebounds. Pauline Astier had 15 points, 5 rebounds. Raquel Carrera had 2 points. Marina Johannes had 7 points, 3 rebounds, and Rebecca Gardner scored 7 points and had 1 rebound. Let's take it over to the Aces. Wow, Jackie Young was the leading scorer in tonight's game for both teams. But Stephanie Talbot had 0 points, like per usual. She played for 12 minutes, had 0 points, 1 rebound. Jackie Young had 31 points, 2 rebounds. Nalissa Smith had 9 points, 6 rebounds. Jewell Loyd had 5 points, 3 rebounds. Chelsea Gray had 7 points, 3 rebounds. Yeah, Jewell Loyd and Chelsea Gray had to step it up. As guards, they both played. Well, Jewell Loyd played for 31 minutes, only put up 5 points. Unacceptable. Chelsea Gray played for 36 minutes, only put up 7 points. Unacceptable. Cheyenne Parker-Taya, she was cooking, low-key. She had 8 points, 8 rebounds. Kirsten Bell, she actually made a 3, which we really needed desperately in the third quarter. KB put up 7 points, had 3 rebounds. Kennedy Carter, a.k.a. Who Gon Guard Her, had 18 points, 3 rebounds. And Brianna Turner had 0 points, 1 rebound. It is what it is. Again, we just going to have to chalk it up as a loss, okay? Unfortunately, the Las Vegas Aces, I was rooting for them to beat the New York Liberty in the this current Commissioner's Cup championship game. Okay, it was $500,000 on the line, but they was missing their captain, who was A'ja Wilson. I don't know. They lost, but without her by just 8 points. I believe that if A'ja Wilson was in this game, she would have of course made a huge difference in tonight's game, and possibly could have pulled off a win for the Las Vegas Aces. But hey, it is what it is. Dubs in the chat for the New York Liberty.